So, everyone, welcome back. This is going to be my general thoughts on this pandemic, part two. So, I've come to realize that we as Americans should have taken this much more seriously than we have, or even are in a lot of places. This is something that the world is responding to much better than the United States. Not most, but many countries in the world that we know about are responding in an appropriate way. I feel like a lot of Americans are not taking it seriously. Not taking seriously the fact that we need to isolate ourselves, you know, first and foremost, before convenience in our lives, before just wanting to go back to how things were before this pandemic. Um, and I think we as Americans, I love America, I love the United States, I'm a proud citizen, but we're very reckless. And it kind of shows in our response to this pandemic, the coronavirus. It it really seems like most people that I know are not really changing their lives in any way that can help stop the spread of the pandemic. Myself included. I'm not gonna just I'm not just gonna talk about other people, but myself included. I haven't taken it as seriously as I should have in the past. The first few weeks I was just like, there's no way this is as bad as they're saying it is. Right now, I'm starting to realize that it really is, and that even though I'm an essential employee, I need to watch for signs of people having the coronavirus around me at work, and then make the executive decision to isolate myself and stay away from my job, because life is more important than a job, especially if it's not a career, and that's how I feel. Uh, you know, Donald Trump's statement that he wants to have churches packed for Easter. Um, he's walked that back, thank God, because there'd be no point in social distancing if everybody just went back to church and it was in the pews right next to each other. Um, that would be a breeding ground for this virus. We had the other day 1,000 people die in the United States in one day. It's insane. Uh, this is set to be way more harmful than the attacks on the twin towers of 9/11. It already is. It already has killed more people. Yet we're not responding in the same way because it's not a visible. It's not a visible thing. It's not. It's not something you can say, okay, that's the coronavirus. We need to attack that. It's something that's more malicious, more subversive. And we're starting to see how a lot of people just don't understand the nature of the virus and the nature of how it infects other people. A lot of the masks, whether it be bandanas, whether it be medical masks, whether it be any kind of mask that you wear to protect yourself, mostly it's for other people just in case you inflict the sickness onto them. So, from what I'm hearing from the CDC and from the Attorney General, things like that, it seems like the masks are not so much to keep you from getting infected, but for people who are infected or are carrying the virus but aren't showing symptoms, because there's a lot of people not showing symptoms but have the virus, which is terrifying. It's a terrifying mutation for any virus to take, that you can have it but not display symptoms and then pass it on. So we have to be very careful in that regard. Um, if at all possible, distance yourself. Even if you're an essential employee, try to stay as far back from people in general as possible. If you're in an industry like I work at a grocery store in produce, it's hard to social distance on the sales floor, and it's also you're dealing with people's produce, and you don't know where it's coming from. So I don't feel scared by it, but it seems like a perfect disaster. Like everything's there for just one little product from the place that has it and has employees that are packaging it who have the coronavirus in a different nation, could transmit it to me just from sending packages. Now, I don't know how long it can survive, um, I don't know if the packaging process would just die before it would get to us, but it seems like a lot of people are concerned about that. I don't know if it's legitimate, but enough people are concerned about that to make me concerned, to make me second guess, in essence. Um, I'm seeing a lot of people with masks, coming to shop, which is good. I'm seeing people trying to take measures to ensure their own safety, but also other people's safety. We're seeing way more people shopping for other people. There's multiple services that allow you to send your grocery list to somebody and they go and shop for you. I'm seeing a lot of those. A lot of people ask me where items are at that obviously have a very specific list that they're going from, and it's not their list. I didn't think that energy industry could pick up so much during a pandemic, but there are a lot of people who are willing to go out and shop for other people, which is honestly, I think it's okay. I think it's good. Um, it gives money it provides a lot of jobs. It gives money to people that may have been struggling beforehand. A lot of people are taking up this job. But what I really wanted to get to in this part two was, besides all the rambling that I just did, what I really wanted to get to is that I don't consider myself an empath, but I feel like I display the signs of an empath. I can feel the energy in the air, the fear in the air, the quiet of the world. Not just because it's literally quieter, but really the world seems sedated, and it seems like we've all drawn within ourselves. Not all of us, but enough to actually feel this energy. Um, and then and we're doing this because we're afraid, because many people are afraid of contracting this virus. We don't know how serious it's going to get. A lot of people are hoarding. There's a lot of making other people afraid, but you can feel it in the air if you're sensitive enough. And I've always been very sensitive spiritually. You can feel the quiet and the fear as a very specific energy. It's not something that's easy to describe, but silence by itself does not have a fear note to it. But silence because of fear, that's its own particular flavor of energy that you just feel, that somebody who is sensitive enough can really be affected by it. I've been affected by it. I have not shielded myself from this energy enough, and I find myself being more quiet as far as my own energy. I'm kind of infected not with coronavirus, but with that fearful energy that's just floating around everywhere. A fearful silence. It's not something easy to describe, but if you open your mind, if you quiet your mind first, open your mind, and just listen. Not listen for sounds, but listen for feelings and a vibration. If that makes any sense, vibration and feeling. You can listen to other people's feelings without hearing them speak. And there's this very, it's not something that you hear necessarily as a sound, but you use your eardrums to gauge the vibration of the air, of the energy around you. And that energy is fear and silence mixed together. We're given an opportunity to, a lot of us who are not in major cities we should take heed. We should listen to the CDC. We're getting a bit of a breather in the suburbs and in the country. All those people are getting a breather, including in my suburb, getting a breather. But just because it hasn't hit us yet doesn't mean it's not going to hit us hard in the future. And the next year, maybe in the next few months, it's going to get much worse. You can just feel it. If you're attuned to time spiritually, you can feel that we're kind of slowly walking up this hill, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to practice normalcy. And then once we get to the top, once we get to the peak, we're like, okay, we're finally to a point where, okay, we're safe as far as energy goes. We feel like we're grounded. We're okay. And then the coronavirus is going to push us on the other side of that mountain or the other side of that hill, and we're going to tumble down, and we're going to get hurt along the way. Humanity is going to take a big blow. A lot of human beings are going to die, already have died. this isn't what ends us, but there's a lot of horror to come. There really is. And I don't want to be an alarmist. I don't want to be somebody who is trying to make you afraid, like a lot of people are. But these are just my feelings about how bad it's going to get and how I can feel it. I can just feel it in the air. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. I hope all of you are staying safe, staying isolated, keeping your spirits up in whatever way you can, reaching out through social media to talk with friends that perhaps you saw in person more often than you do now. Try to be the best you can, even if you're isolated, and just know that this isn't going to last forever, but it will get worse before it gets better. So just be prepared for those developments, and there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to make it. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and all of you, have a great day.